Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to the progress report for April 2023. Coming on to just talk to you about how things are going with my inked pens. I do have two more pens to talk about than I showed on my Chris's inked pens because I got the Jinhao 248s and I've got these two to report on too. And it's kind of neat. This is the pouch that I'm using this time for my pens, and it's the Levenger bomber jacket pen case, and it fits the Kaweco and the two little Jinhao 248s right in the middle in the pouch, so I'm really excited about that. I've got one pen that I pulled out because it's leaking and I don't want it to leak on the case. I don't think it would. Everything's going into the cap, but we'll get into that. So I've got the Pelikan M800, the Jinhao X159, the Pilot Vanishing point. I will say one thing. This case needs to be kept zippered when it's, just around that I'm not using it, because when I picked it up, the vanishing point fell out the other day, and thank goodness there were no dings or visible problems to it. So I was really lucky because that could have been not good. So I just have to remember to zipper it. So then the three pens are in the middle, and then the little Cross Bailey light, and the Kaweco Perkio. That doesn't want to quite fit in there. Let's see. One of them, I think it does. Anyway, I like this a lot, so I'm determined to use it. And then the little Lamy ABC. But I think we're going to just jump right into the ink journal, because that's where all the action is. And this is the one ink that I did add. I actually cleaned the Perkio. I had Noodler's Heart of Darkness in it, and the ink was too flowy for the nib. It just was like gloppy, kind of. It wasn't quite right. And I thought, well, it could just be the pen and nib, or it could be the ink. And when I switched over to Van Diemen's Federation Peak, oh, what a different experience that is. And I'll show you in my ink journal. So that just showed me, oh my goodness, the little springiness of this nib on the Perkio, and the right ink combination just really helps. So we'll get right into that. Last time I forgot to show you the report card. So I'm going to show you right here, just on a kind of a, making sure that if I happen to forget, it'll at least be here. But this time we will come back to it before we go to the library. So here it is. It's like all A's, except for I did give the little Faber-Castell an incomplete because I need to clean it out, get out my loop, check and see what's going on. I don't want to have a disaster, but it is leaking into the cap real aggressively. Whoops. So I don't want that all over my hands. I'll have to be careful. I don't know what's going on. Something may be loose, and it may be a quick fix, but I haven't really slowed down to do that yet. The month is only half over, so it'll give me time. But we'll come back to this page. So let's just start right in. So I've got my order all out of the inks, but that's okay. So I have the Waterman Serenity Blue in the Pelikan M800, and it's wonderful. But you know what I want to do? I want to put Diamine Oxford Blue, because I think that'll even complement the pen better. But there's been absolutely no issues. It's just that I was thinking how much I love the darker blue. I'm surprised I didn't put that in right from the start. So, but this is a smooth nib. I keep writing down M instead of fine, but it is a fine nib, but it writes like a medium. Super smooth. It has an extremely even ink flow, and it has a really satisfying weight to it. So I guess we will go over the grades at the end. It got a really good grade, but yeah, because that's what I forgot to do last time. I'm a little freaked out by that, because that's part of this. But yeah, I really loved it. And I am going to put Diamine Oxford Blue in it next time. I can't see this not being inked up. It's just such a joy to write with. And it holds a lot of ink, so I'll go probably a long time with it. I'm not exactly sure where we're at right now. I could probably hold it up and figure that out, but I've definitely written with it a lot for letters and my journal and everything. So it's been really great. Let's see. And then next up was over here. The Sailor 50 States Texas went into the X159, which is just a whole different experience than it was in my black one where the nib was bad. So this has been fantastic. I get a lot of shading, which this ink is known for, but this also has kind of a springy nib too that gives you line variation. Well, I don't know if you could call, let's see. What am I trying to say? Yeah, it's definitely gives you line variation, and it's a fine nib, but it's really nice. So yeah, this has been great. I did do the chromatographies, even though some of these we've looked at multiple times, but I guess it's good not to have to flip backwards. This one is I started writing down weights all over the place. I don't know why I was doing that. So 21 on the uncapped Pelikan and 17 on the uncapped Jinhao. But there's no comparing the two pens. But this is a wonderful pen, and I couldn't say that about my black one. I was like, it's good, and I wanted to love it. It has a number 8 nib, so it's not as easy to switch out because it's the only number 8 nib, well, this one and then the bad one that I have are the only ones that I have in the house. So, okay, then next up, I hope I'm going in order. Yeah, was the Pilot Vanishing Point with a little cartridge, Pilot Namiki purple, which is a very pretty purple, but it's a lot lighter than I love. And also, I noticed that as my writing goes on, it lightens up a little. So that was interesting. Now the Pelikan didn't do that with the Waterman ink. So I'm just thinking I want a darker purple. So the next fill, well, I'm going to look through my samples and see what else I have. The Murasaki purple wouldn't be darker, so I'm not sure. But I love the flow and how it writes and everything. I just want a darker ink, that's all. But it's beautiful. Definitely comfortable, and I'm getting it that this pen needs good ink, ink that it gets along with. So the Pilot inks have been really good for it. Next up was a little Kaweco. Let's see, I got that in the pouch here, and we had our big ink splatter. When I did the other video, it splattered all over, but it never did that again. It must have just been I got carried away shaking it to see if I could get the shimmer to go evenly, and then I just kind of blotted the feed, and I haven't had any more trouble. So this is great. It's a lovely combination because with the Mellow Blue and then a nice brighter, I just think, isn't that lovely? And then you could see what the water brush did to it. I used the water brush, I think, on everything. I'm pretty sure I did. So yeah, I had done some icky journaling under here, but I don't want to have that writing show. I'll talk about what happened on Easter, but briefly. It was quite an adventure, and everybody's okay, so. Okay, so next up, yeah, is the Cross Bailey in teal with a fine nib. Let me double check that. I don't know why I have to. Yeah, this is a fine nib. Why am I so insecure about that? I can't see it at all. Yes, okay, I did. I visioned the fine. It's definitely fine because I was thinking it doesn't necessarily write like a medium, but it's a generous fine, but it's really, really good. I've been really enjoying this. Let's see, somewhere I have cross. Okay, so the chromatography of this cartridge cross black and the cross black that I put 1 p.m. Into the 248, they matched, so I'm sure I'm dealing with the same cross black, so I can just say that it is this ink, and I did a tile for it from the bottle that I bought. So I love this. I love this pen. This is really nice. I did hear from one person that said that she ordered a couple of these and had a problem because the cartridge was jammed down inside the body so badly that she couldn't get it out. And so that was a real problem. And so I just wanted to mention that because luckily mine, I didn't have that problem. You can tell I like it because it's, yeah, the cartridge is nearly empty. It's a small cartridge, but still, with 10 pens inked up, I've reached for this a lot. and no ink in that cap. It surprised me. I mean, I thought, oh, I'll try this. It's recommended, and, you know, I hadn't known about it. So I ordered one and everything, but I ended up really, really enjoying this so far, you know, since the day I inked it up. So it is very light, 12.5 grams, body only, which is, I've been posting this a lot. You can post it comfortably. It doesn't knock it out of balance or anything to me. Sits kind of right there, so I have enjoyed it a lot. But I can write with it unposted too. It's big enough. So I just thought, wow, and they've got lots of different colors, and you watch the prices, they can go way down, and they can go ridiculous as well. But I've seen them for $12.80 and $14.95, but I've also seen them more. So you have to shop around, I guess. Postable, fine and medium nibs, comfortable grip, smooth nib. Yeah, and this is not a review, but boy, I've enjoyed this. And I like the ink so much that I went and I bought the bottle. I think I mentioned that in some other video, but I can't remember right now. My brain's pretty loaded, pretty full right now, but that's okay. It's all good, pretty much. And then, okay, so next was the Kaweco Perkio. And I started out with Heart of Darkness. I'm not sure why I did that, because this is a medium nib, and that would, you know, be pretty interesting. As flowy as Heart of Darkness is, it's probably, for what I do, better in a fine or an extra fine. Anyway, I did change the ink to Van Diemen's Federation Peak because this, it didn't bleed through, but it was fairly aggressive. It almost did. And it was just kind of, I don't know if you can see that, but it would kind of flow darker, and ooh, I don't know. I just didn't like it. I felt like I didn't have any control over the pen, but when I changed over to the Van Diemen's, which I didn't know, I've written with this before, but not a lot, it really improved the experience, and the nib was very suited to this ink, and so I'm looking forward to writing even more with it. But I already have written a couple letters with it, and it just went really well. So here's the difference. Noodler's Heart of Darkness has a lot of water resistance. It does move around. You can see that from the tile. And this one has water resistance too, but it's lighter. It must be drier than the Noodler's ink. That's all you can see. It's not a dry ink, but compared to the Noodler's, oh my goodness. Yeah, that was a really nice swap when I switched the ink in that one. Okay, and then next up was another little student pen, the Lamy ABC, and I don't have a tile on it because I just used the one and only cartridge that came with it. Popped it right in. But I'm looking forward to using a converter in this one and using a different ink. I'm not excited by this blue ink, not at all. But I love the pen. The pen has an A nib, which means beginner. Let's see, I had my little... No, I can never find the correct index card at the right time. This desk is like a hurricane struck. Yes, I think this would be great for young children. I can't wait to review it or do a report on it. It's really nice. But I don't have a lot to say about it. I wasn't reaching for it. I like the pen itself, but I didn't like the ink. And I liked the writing, felt really good, but I didn't like the blue ink. So, oh my goodness, Fussy Chris. Okay. That's just the truth, though. That's where I was at. And then the next one, I put Schneider Violet in the Faber-Castell Fresh, and I'm having that problem. I'm not going to open it up again. The ink is getting all in the cap. So there's something going on, but I'm going to look at it because I really love the way it's writing. I mean, it's really nice, and this purple is real pretty, but this could be an ink issue, or it just could be something came loose. There's a little loose or something. I'm going to clean it out and see what's going on, really look at it with a loupe and everything. So I gave it an incomplete because it's not fair. I'm too new to the pen to know what on earth might be happening. Okay, so next is the little Jinhao 248. Let me reach in that pouch. And it's the one that's sort of a dusty rose color. I did put a Lamy medium nib on this one, and I used the stock nib on the other one. And I put Straight's pen Honest Ink Bougainvillea Purple. And this is nice. It's lovely. Oh my goodness. Just really fun. It doesn't, let's see if I can illustrate. I don't know if I can illustrate it or not, because right now it probably will. Yeah, it's wet, but not too wet, if you can see. You know, not that it's super quick drying, but it's quite nice. It's just, I write really fast, so I'm wondering about that. But I didn't have that problem with the cross violet. We'll get to that. I mean, cross black, sorry. And I imagine cross violet would be good too. But it's just excellent. I mean, it's fun. And with printing, I did really well with it. I tend to go like super fast with my cursive writing. Yeah, I ordered new glasses, so I'm really happy about that. I'd been 2 years since I'd had my eyes checked, and I knew I had a little change. So that's going to be fun. And now I'll actually have a spare pair too. Okay, then last but not least is the other little Jinhao 248, and I left the nib that came on it. This one is stamped Jinhao with their little logo, and it's an extra fine. And I wanted it with the black ink to use in my Hobonichi and bullet journal, and it's been really great. So the cross black is what I put in it. And let's see what I said. The stock nib, and yeah, I didn't have to smooth it or do anything. It was just a lucky one, a good one. And I also see this pen referred to as Jinhao 166. I got mine on Amazon for, I can't remember how much, but it was under $10 for 5. With a converter, and then it takes the Lamy style nib, and it takes the Lamy nib, and it takes their cartridge and their converter too. So it's really, that's really interesting. It doesn't have to, because it came with one, so you don't need to use Lamy stuff, but okay, I'm sure these pens need to be tested individually to see how consistent they are. Yeah, I haven't tried the other 5. One is with someone else now, and the other 2 I'll be trying out. But I call them a lot of fun. I really like these. I can see handing these out to people that are beginning, and really they could have a good time with them. So, okay, so that is it. But let's turn back to the report card, because I hated that I forgot that last time. Okay, here we are. So the Pelikan got an A+, and I bet you it would have got a double A+ if I'd had the Diamine Oxford Blue, because there's something about that ink, and I know it would have been just so super, that much better. But I didn't think of it at the time. And then, so I also gave a number grade, and it got a 95, at least, maybe even more, but I'll think about that. I left room over on this side for final thoughts. And then next, the Jinhao X159 got an A with this Sailor ink. It's wonderful, and I didn't have to do anything to it, no smoothing, nothing. Just my pen friend CS sent this to me. And of course, I mentioned before that the Pelikan was a gift from pen friend MS, and so I'm so blessed, and I thank you all very much. I forgot to, say that, because you may be only here for this video and missed the other. Okay, so the Pilot Vanishing Point with this Namiki purple, I gave an A, a 90. It's good. I think I'd like it better with a darker purple. There's a theme coming out there. I need to find a darker purple Pilot ink. And I may have a sample of some. Okay, and then the Kaweco Sport in the double broad with the Mellow Blue. That's the color of it. Got an A+ too, because, I mean, that's a double broad. It's flowy. It's beautiful. Even if you can't see the shimmer, which mostly you can, but it's awfully hard for me to show. I like the base color so much and the red sheen that I get that I don't really care whether the shimmer shows or not. If it does, it's a happy accident, I guess. It depends how well I can keep the pen agitated, the ink agitated. And then the Cross Bailey got an A too, a 93. It's so smooth and very reliable. I popped that cartridge in, and it just gave no problem starting and continuing, and it's wonderful. Yeah, for bullet journaling and all-day jotting, I just love that. And then next, the Kaweco Perkio. Okay, it would have got a C with the more aggressive Noodler's ink, because it just wasn't, it was like a racehorse when you really wanted, you know, something a little slower. And so, but it got an A, a 93 with the Van Diemen's, with the Federation Peak. That's a beautiful gray ink. I wonder if they still make that. I don't know. This was gifted to me, the sample, a long time ago by Manda. So I think it was Manda. There are two people that have sent Van Diemen's samples, but pretty sure. I don't have the tag that tells me. So forgive me if I'm mistaken that. The Lamy ABC, the blue one, got an A, a 90. I believe that's would have been higher too, except that I didn't enjoy the color of what was coming out. I just didn't like that blue. Let's see. Let's look at it one more time. It looked a little washed out to me. But that's probably the point with little kids. I mean, we don't want to give them, you know, something that's going to stain their clothing, their fingers, and everything else. So I totally get it, that a washable blue or a kind of a reasonable blue is a good idea for a very beginner writer. So I need to keep that in mind. The Faber-Castell, I gave it an incomplete because I need to find out what's going on with the ink pooling up in the cap there. It's just something that's happened to me before with pens. It's nothing out of the realm of, you know, what I've dealt with, and sometimes you can just tighten things up and figure out what's going on. So hopefully that'll work out. And that was the pen and the ink sample were gifted to me. The pen from C&GS and the ink from a pen friend FD. So let's see. Oh yes, and then finally the two Jinhao 248s. This one got an A, a 93. The rose-colored one, where I'm writing with a fine Lamy nib and the Straits ink. It's super fun. It's just, you know, flowy and reliable. It's been really good. And then the last one, this one, the green one, I just kept the stock nib, the extra fine in it, and it's great. It's an A+, a 95. I don't understand it myself either. It's just I'm reaching for it a lot. It's no fuss, and it's kind of casual to just carry this around, and I think it's, you know, dries fast enough, and it puts the ink down on both my ink journal and Hobonichi too. I mean, I said ink journal. I meant a bullet journal. My bullet journal is a Leuchtturm 120 gram paper, and then the Hobonichi, of course, is 52 GSM Tomoe River, and it writes equally well on both of those. So I like that. I really do. I'm thinking about, on my trip, maybe taking a little vial of the Cross Black and, you know, I don't know, a couple of, maybe a Pilot, I don't know. I've got to think about what to take, because that's a whole nother thing. A whole nother, it's always something when you're trying to narrow down what you're going to bring with you. We'll have to see about that. So, okay. So that's it for the report card part. And I think I'll go over to the library now. I'll meet you there. There, so that's how it's going. The pens are really fun. I really am enjoying this Levenger case. The fact that all 10 fit in here kind of surprised me. You just, when you put stuff into the that middle part, if you just get it situated just right before you zip it, it's perfect. And as long as I remember to zip it, not lay it around on the couch when I'm not using it unzipped, then I might pick it up and something might fall out, and that's no good. So yeah, it's I'll probably, you know, kind of choose which pens I carry in it because of that reason, because I don't fully trust myself to zip it. That's, you know, I think with the rickshaw, I just don't have that trouble because everything seems to stay inside the koozie part of it. So that's pretty good. You know, and I was thinking, do I have a favorite? I mean, I just am enjoying these so much, and it blew my mind that that the Pelikan M800 and the Jinhao, let me see, make sure I get the right one, 248 could both get A+, you know, but they have their distinct good characteristics, and there are things about each pen that make them just wildly wonderful to write with on certain conditions. And I find myself writing letters with the Pelikan, you know, mostly. And that's why I'm dying to get a darker blue in there, or something a little more exciting for ink. Even though the Waterman Serenity Blue is beautiful, I think I'm going to enjoy something a little more, not exotic, but more saturated in there, a little darker, a little bit, you know, we'll see. So that's the fun of the hobby, right? Is just what we can do and how much we can vary the experience by ink, paper, and what we're using it for. So I just, you know, obviously you could tell by the grades, you know, the standouts really were, well, I would say these three, the Cross Bailey Light for its, you know, I'll take that anywhere and I won't worry about it. It's just fun. And same thing with the little Jinhao 248. It's a take anywhere pen too, honestly. And then the Pelikan M800 staying mainly at my desk. I don't want to take that out of the house, but it's wonderful to use at my antique desk, you know, that belonged to my grandmother, and the weight of the pen and just the beauty of it is just amazing. It makes writing letters a lot of fun, of course, even more so than usual. So I said I covered up my journaling there where it was kind of weird, but I have both a cautionary tale and a gratitude, and I have all kinds of thoughts now that a little bit more time has passed since the incident. But on Easter, Manuel and I had a barbecuing accident, and it was really, really sudden and scary. We were at my sister-in-law's, and he had me holding open the side of a barrel-shaped, low-to-the-ground barbecue pit. I had an oven mitt on, and I was holding the side of the grill open. So because it had completely died down, but there was more meat to cook for later. And he was throwing in, just charcoal, and everything seemed fine. And then he put some fire starter, and then everything blew. And I just, oh my gosh, I lost some hair on my arm. I didn't get burned, but my hair got like, I can't believe, because I came to see, you know, was I going to look halfway decent for the video even, and I can't actually tell, except for where I know that it was longer, and it's anyway. This isn't a sponsored video or anything, but this Hask Aragon oil, because I got like the flames came up through, you know, around the crack and just flamed my head because I was, I guess, leaned over. I don't know. It happened so fast. So please be careful. We're going into the barbecuing season, and just if you're doing it yourself, be careful. If you're working with somebody else, discuss what's going to be done first, I think, because I had no idea he was going to throw a match in, and he was on the side, and he still got his beard, you know, kind of, what do you call it, seared, or I was not scorched, but just, you know, the flame kissed, I guess. It was scary. I mean, it was really scary, and I backed off, of course, and the mitt went, you know, like that, and you know, I just naturally knew something was going on. And my brother-in-law said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yes." And then the look of horror on his face, he said, "No, you're not. Your hair. So, of course, I turned around and said, "Are you okay?" to Manuel, and he was okay. And I ran to the bathroom, and I was like, oh, you know, there was just like everything I touched, the little pieces came and fell down. You know, I can't even describe it. It was horrible, even for someone who's very, you know, low maintenance hair wise. I was like, oh my God. And there was this yellow, like, I can still see it, but I can't see it with the lights and all that, thank God. And this stuff, I mean, we went to the pharmacy right away, and I got this stuff, repairing oil made with argan oil. Anyway, I didn't know what else to do. And I put that on, and I put a hair towel and let it stay on for like ever and ever. And then I realized you could just leave it on. So that's what I've been doing. And it's fine. It could have been so much worse. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm talking about hair, and it could have been my eyes, or, you know, could have been a lot worse. But thank goodness it wasn't for either of us. And just let this be like a a fire caution, you know. I used to write the articles on barbecue safety, pool safety, drowning, you know, all that when I was in the Air Force. I just couldn't believe that we had, you know, quickly gotten involved in something like that, you know. And I just wanted to, you know, get it out, get it off of my mind and all of that. Because at the time I actually thought, ooh, I'm going to have to wear my hat the next time I make a video. But no, my hair is thinning anyway. And it just was a little bit of extra thinning. And you can't, you know, like, man, he said, oh, you're fine. It doesn't look any different. I'm like, oh, okay, okay. Oh my goodness. So that was that. Anyway, I'd rather talk about pens, but if you ever need to repair your hair, this stuff is miracle. And we'll stick to pens from now on, right? It's gonna be great. I'm trying not to ink up anymore. In fact, I've been cleaning pens from some of the overflow because, you know, if the universe is willing and my plans come into manifestation, then I'll get to see my family before long, and that's going to be a major focus. And I don't, you know, I'll probably just take a couple of pens like I did last time, and that was last time was 2019. It's been a long time, so I'm, you know, I'm eager. So anyway, I think it's time for me to end this video, and just, you know, with the gratitude that we didn't get burned. We didn't actually have skin burns. We charred our hair and did all kinds of, you know, scared everybody and entertained as well, I'm sure. But I will see you on the next video. I'm not even sure what that's going to be, except that I have chosen the next profile, or no, pen report for the student pen project. It's going to be the little online campus, the Fluffy Cats, because there were several people that just voted for that even before. I haven't even put up the vote yet, so, but that's fine. That was great. Just kind of gives me the next pen to focus on. I've already written with it for a long time, and then I'll do a poll for the next one for after the Fluffy Cats. So I hope you all are doing fine, and hopefully I wasn't over dramatic about what happened. It was scary, you know, and I took pictures of how it looked at the time, and then I deleted them. I said, I don't even want to remember this. I don't want to think about it, and it's not any kind of thing to be, you know, no. But then I felt like the more I wrote about it and got it off my system, it just seems like it helped. So thank you for helping. And I'll see you next time. Be careful out there. Think through everything you're going to do. Bye for now.